there has been rumblings that basically, Kelsey Plum wanted to get the hell away from them. Meaning Becky Hammon and A'ja Wilson. And I'm here to tell you guys, it is looking like that way because none other than Kelsey Plum actually fired shots at the Las Vegas Aces.
Kelsey Plum didn't just pack her bags and leave Las Vegas. She lit the whole Aces empire on fire on her way out. At her Sparks press conference and in a recent interview with WNBA legend Sue Bird, she dropped the bombshell line, "I'm finally being treated better than I ever have in the WNBA." Let that sink in. That wasn't just a thank you to Los Angeles. It was a dagger aimed squarely at the so-called super team she just escaped from. And if that wasn't enough, Plum doubled down in her sit-down with Sue Bird. She spelled it out plain. She wanted more responsibility, more trust, and she wasn't getting it in Vegas. Translation? A'ja Wilson hogged the spotlight, Becky Hammon backed it, and Plum was done playing second fiddle.
You really are about it. You really believe that you are as good as you think you are, and you really think you can impact winning at the highest level.
Only one way to find out.
There's only one way to find out. And kind of also too, you also have to have a coach that is like, no, that's exactly who I want.
And then came the quote that sent Vegas fans spiraling. In her own words, Plum said she needed a coach who would respond, "That's exactly what I want too." That's not just a career goal. That's a not-so-subtle indictment of Becky Hammon's failure to empower her. Think about it. One of the league's deadliest guards flat out admitted she felt stifled under Hammon. And it's not just Plum. Multiple exits now have fans whispering that the glittery Aces dynasty is rotting from the inside. So what's the real problem? Is it Becky's ego, A'ja's jealousy, or a front office that thinks branding can cover dysfunction? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Let's go!
Now, we know throughout the offseason there has been a lot of chatter behind the scenes in regards to the Las Vegas Aces. The Las Vegas Aces team was completely derailed at the conclusion of the season, which leaving a lot of people to speculate what the hell is going on in Vegas.
Here's where it gets delicious. Plum's move isn't just personal, it's the first major crack in the Aces' armor. And she knew exactly what she was doing. That carefully crafted press conference line wasn't a slip-up. It was months of frustration wrapped into one polished sentence. She's telling the world, the Aces weren't what they seemed.
Just a question for Kelsey. You came from a place in Las Vegas that really valued player health and player experience. I'm just curious what it was about LA that convinced you that the Sparks would also provide a high quality player experience and amenities.
Great question. First and foremost, I 100% had concerns when I first talked to Coach and Reagan, if we're going to be completely honest. And I will say every step of the way, they have not just met but exceeded my expectations. And I've been treated better than I've ever been as a WNBA player. And
Think about how sharp that cut really was. I've been treated better than I ever have in the WNBA. That's not casual praise, that's a verdict. Standing there in Sparks yellow, she framed her move as freedom, while every Vegas fan heard it as confirmation that the so-called family atmosphere under Hammon was a facade.
I just feel like an overwhelming sense of love, I feel like open arms. I was actually in the airport this morning and I was just getting some water and the guy was like, "Go Sparks!" It's just, I feel that. So I'm excited about that because I really do feel like people have kind of already wrapped their arms around me. I haven't even played a game yet. Just the welcoming of my teammates and coach and Reagan and ownership, I feel very loved already.
Plum didn't stop there either. She admitted she'd been itching for the chance to lead, something the Aces never gave her. When asked point blank if she wanted to be the head of the snake, she didn't hesitate. She made it clear Los Angeles would hand her the keys that Vegas never trusted her with.
What is it to be the leader? What is it to be the head of the snake? That kind of a vibe. Feels like you just wanted to know. You needed to know.
Yeah, I would hate to have grandkids sitting on the couch and just being like, I wonder if I would have, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That sounded creepy, but
No, not at all. I totally get it. you don't want to regret. Is basically what you're saying.
See, in Vegas, Plum was treated like an accessory, a scoring option when it was convenient, a piece of the puzzle, but never the centerpiece. With LA, she's the engine. And that contrast was intentional. She was drawing the line between A'ja Wilson's team and her new team.
And I'm so grateful to be reunited with Dee, to play with people like Cam and Rakia, and I can continue to go on the list.
And don't forget, the whole trade process dragged on for months. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment outburst. This was a player biting her tongue, waiting for the moment she could speak her truth. And when the mic was finally hers, she didn't just take her shot. She unloaded the clip. Even in her interview with Sue Bird, Plum laid it bare. She needed a coach who actually believed in her, pushed her, and gave her the green light. She found that with the Sparks. She never felt it with Becky Hammon. That's not gossip. That's straight from Plum herself.
There's only one way to find out. And kind of also too, like, you also have to have a coach that is like, no, that's exactly who I want. And I give Lynn a ton of credit. Like, she's like, you're my person. Let's do this. And I was like, wow, okay. So I'm not crazy. At least maybe we're both crazy.
And let's be clear, this isn't a bench warmer asking for minutes. Last season with the Aces, Plum put up 17.8 points, 4.2 assists, and 2.6 rebounds per game. She produced every single night. But Hammon's system wasn't built around her. It was built to keep A'ja Wilson front and center, with everyone else orbiting around her. LA flipped that script immediately. Now Plum isn't just another piece behind A'ja or Chelsea Gray. She's the face of the team. That isn't just validation, it's liberation.
I've been treated better than I ever have been as a WNBA player. Now, that is the comment there that is raising eyebrows amongst fans in regards to Kelsey Plum, stating that she's been treated better so far than she has ever been as a WNBA player.
Fans picked up on the subtext instantly. Social media lit up with posts interpreting her words as a not-so-veiled shot at the Aces. And let's be honest, it was. People saw it as confirmation of what had been whispered for months. Vegas's locker room wasn't as glamorous as their championship suggested. Behind the champagne showers and confetti, individuality was suffocated, and players were forced into silence. Plum's comments ripped that mask off.
So, for all Aces fans, it's over. It's over. It's over. The reign of the Aces is over. I understand the shortest dynasty in the history of the sport of basketball. You know, I've never heard of a dynasty that won 2 championships and then was done, because you're seeing all the ring-chasing free agents getting out of Vegas.
And here's the thing. When one of your stars admits she felt suppressed, you know she wasn't the only one. Because almost immediately after Plum's exit, the Aces weren't just losing games, they were losing bodies. Players started leaving in waves, and suddenly the league's most dominant team looked less like a dynasty and more like a crumbling empire.
We have to get better. We have to really take a sharp look at ourselves, look ourselves in the mirror, see our shortcomings, and then, you got to make the moves necessary, whatever that means, to put the best product that we possibly can. It's not going to be the same group probably next year. It just won't. And I'm sad about that, because I really like that group. They were a pain in my ass, but I was a pain in their ass too.
That's the scary part for Vegas. Dynasties don't collapse from the outside, they collapse from within. And right now, Las Vegas is bleeding talent faster than it can replace it. Kate Martin's exit was the first crack. Technically, she got pulled into Golden State by the expansion draft, and on paper, you can brush that off as bad luck. But here's what made it sting. Martin didn't sulk. She didn't sound heartbroken. She leaned into her new opportunity like it was a blessing in disguise. And that silence about missing Vegas, that spoke volumes.
I'm really excited. This league is all about opportunity, and, you just need one shot, right? And I am very thankful for the Aces and everything I got to learn there, but I'm really excited for this new beginning and to build something from the ground up here with the Valkyries.
For Kate Martin, leaving Vegas wasn't some tragic goodbye. It was an escape hatch. She framed her move to Golden State as a clean slate, a chance to build something new with the Valkyries. That doesn't sound like someone mourning a championship locker room. It sounds like someone boxed in, finally cutting loose. And here's the kicker. If the Aces culture really was as family first as Asia Wilson and Becky Hammon love to claim, wouldn't Martin have fought to stay? Young, talented, still developing, yet clearly thrilled to call Golden State a blessing rather than a setback. That's not an endorsement of Vegas. That's an indictment. Then came Sydney Colson, and this one hurt the Aces even worse. Colson wasn't just a player. She was the connective tissue of that team. She kept the locker room loose, light, and balanced. She was the personality you can't track on a stat sheet, the voice that kept even Asia Wilson smiling. So when Colson looked at her options and decided Vegas wasn't worth staying in, that's not just minutes lost, that's chemistry gone. And chemistry is what makes champions. Take away Colson, and you take away the spark that made the Aces more than just a roster. You strip away the soul.
You mean to tell me that two-time WNBA champion, the face of the God Dog League, okay? The Aces' main girl, right-hand man, Sydney Colson, is no longer returning to the Aces and is signing with the Indiana Fever? First of all, do the Fever even have any more roster spots open? How many folks are you guys going to sign?
And then, like a twist of the knife, Tiffany Hayes bailed. Remember, Hayes had already walked away once, retired, then came back with unfinished business. She dominated off the bench, snagged 6th Player of the Year, and proved she was still one of the most dangerous scorers you could unleash in bursts. And what does she do? She signs with Golden State. That wasn't a random decision. That was a deliberate choice. She didn't want to end her career riding shotgun in Vegas. She wanted to be somewhere new, somewhere she trusted. And if Hayes can look at a proven contender like Vegas and still pick an expansion team instead, that screams zero faith in the Aces' long-term vision.
Then, of course, there is Tiffany Hayes, who, guys, Tiffany Hayes was not even supposed to be in the WNBA last season. She had actually retired in the offseason of 2024.
And it wasn't just the younger players or the bench mob. Alicia Clark, one of the league's most respected defenders, a proven champion, a veteran leader with credibility dripping off her resume, looked at her future and said, "I'd rather go back to Seattle." Let that sink in. Vegas had titles. Vegas had talent. And yet Clark chose comfort and culture over sticking around for more rings. That wasn't just about money or minutes. That was a choice rooted in trust. Seattle gave her a sense of home. Vegas, despite all the winning, clearly did not.
Let's start with Alicia Clark. According to Ramona Shelburne of ESPN, the Aces wanted to bring back Alicia Clark. But when Seattle came a-knocking, Alicia was like, you know what? I would love to go back to my WNBA home, which is Seattle. Now, guys, if y'all don't know, Alicia Clark won 2 titles with the Seattle Storm in 2018 and 2020. And now at 37 years old, she is looking to bring her 3-and-D game back to Seattle.
Individually, these departures could be brushed off. Expansion draft bad luck. A veteran chasing home. A spark plug finding new opportunities. But stack them together and the picture gets ugly. This wasn't random attrition. It was a mass exodus. It was a chain reaction. The glue that held Vegas together, its depth, its defensive backbone, its locker room voices, all walked out at once. And when role players, veterans, and scorers with proven roles choose fresh starts over stability, that isn't strategy. That's dysfunction.
I don't want to be great for you guys, no offense, but I want to be great for my team. I want to be great for this franchise. It is hard as shit. It is hard as shit because there's tons of people that want to break you down. Great teams in this league that are going to try to come after you every single night. But when it comes to taking accountability, I have no problem in that because I want to be great. I want to be great for my teammates. So yes, it can start in practice. Yes, it starts in training camp. Yes, it starts in the wins and the losses. But I'm not going to stop. I'm going to continue to challenge myself and my teammates every single day. Because when you're talking about greatness, It starts with consistency.
Which brings us right back to Kelsey Plum. When she said she wanted to be valued, when she said she was treated better in LA than she ever was in Vegas, it wasn't just one person venting. The exits prove it. She wasn't alone. She was simply the first bold enough to say it out loud. Veterans like Alicia Clark, bench leaders like Sydney Colson, bench weapons like Hayes, young talent like Martin. They all saw the same cracks Plum did, and their departures sent one loud, unified message. Stability in Vegas was a mirage. And that message puts the spotlight exactly where Vegas didn't want it, on the front office. Because when players leave in waves, it's rarely about basketball. It's about leadership. Or in this case, lack of it. The Aces quietly parted ways with GM Natalie Williams, then went months without naming a permanent successor. A championship roster sitting in limbo with no architect steering the ship? That's not just sloppy. That's waving a red flag in front of every agent, every rival front office, and every player wondering where the hell this franchise is headed.
But also, there is a huge thing that you all have to keep in mind is that the Las Vegas Aces do not have a GM right now. They let go of their GM a couple months ago, and they have not put anyone in that place. And so, hey, Nikki Fargas and Becky Hammon are trying to make some wonders without an actual GM.
And as soon as Williams was gone, the whispers turned to Becky Hammon. Reports floated, speculation swirled. Did Hammon want more control? Was she gunning for a coach/GM hybrid role, like Popovich had in San Antonio? Sure, in theory, one unified voice sounds nice. But let's not forget the context. Becky Hammon was suspended just last season for violating workplace respect policy. She didn't stroll into this conversation with a squeaky clean record. So the idea of giving her more power didn't inspire confidence. It inspired skepticism.
What is going on in their locker room? Like, this Aces team is falling apart. This is not a coach that I would want to play for.
To many, it looked like consolidation of power at exactly the wrong time. And the timing only made it worse. Vegas was already reeling from sanctions, fined and stripped of their 2025 first-round pick for pregnancy discrimination. A scandal that wasn't just a headline, but a moral failure. A champion team caught mistreating its own people. Wins can't erase that. And then, as if that wasn't enough, came another league investigation. This time into possible salary cap circumvention, rumors of hidden benefits, back-channel payments, a culture of bending the rules until they snapped.
On top of that, the league is investigating the Aces for potential salary cap circumvention.
And here's the truth about sports. Perception is punishment. Once your name is tied to investigation, you're already guilty in the eyes of fans, media, and players with other options. Vegas stopped looking like innovators and started looking like cheaters.
Back in May, the Las Vegas Convention Authority gave each of the players an additional $100,000 to basically be active in the community.
So now the Aces find themselves leaderless, embroiled in scandal, losing draft capital, losing credibility, and bleeding players who'd rather roll the dice elsewhere. That's not a dynasty. That's a dynasty collapsing under its own ego. And when you put it all together, Kelsey Plum's words echo even louder. I've been treated better than I ever have in the WNBA. Kate Martin to Golden State. Sydney Colson gone. Tiffany Hayes gone. Alicia Clark gone. GM gone. Draft pick gone. Integrity gone. That wasn't a fluke. That was a reckoning. So what's the real problem? Is it Becky's ego, Asia's jealousy, or a front office that thinks branding can cover dysfunction? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.